What's going on, UW? Alright, so when I say Phil, can y'all help me out and say night? Ready? Phil? Night. Phil? Night. Phil? Night. When I say spoken, can y'all say words? Spoken. Words. Spoken. Words. Spoken. Words. When taking attendance in driving school, my classroom officer revealed what actor she thought each student resembled. When announcing my name, she looked at me, then replied, Jackie Chan. As one of only 2 boys of color in class, I collapsed into my chair like the back seat of a patrol car, listening to the sound of white kids laughing like riot police letting their dogs loose. In 1982, Vincent Chin, a Chinese American, was beaten to death with a baseball bat by 2 white men, mistaking him as Japanese. Convicted killers Ronald Ebens and Michael Nitz were sentenced to 3 years probation without serving a day in jail. Michael Nitz denied all accusations of killing on the basis of race, even after witnesses recalled him yelling, "It's because of you people we're out of work." Ebens and Nitz were then caught steering the barrel of a baseball bat into the pavement of Vincent Chin's skull, the crushing impact like an 18-wheeler against oncoming traffic, pieces of his brain scattered along the streets of Detroit like traffic cones. Officer, when you called me Jackie Chan, I could hear Vincent Chin's corpse turn over like a car accident. Your carelessness is the reason why Asians feel the only way to fit in is to appear less foreign. We are taught to concentration camp our culture, exclusion act our ancestry. We are constantly questioned, where are you from? As if we do not belong, never American born, always made in China. Our heritage is not a punchline you can tell to make yourself feel electric. Your laziness to understand our differences is enough shock to complete circuit a set of jumper cables. If anyone's eyes are slanted, it is America's narrow view of how all Asians look the same. In 1982, the first mobilization of a pan-Asian movement was sparked by the murder of Vincent Chin. Asians across ethnic lines gathered in solidarity to push for justice like a Southern call pile-up. Protests and rallies against racism did not bring back the life of Vincent Chin, but it gave birth to the political voice of Asian Americans, our shared experience of always having to prove ourselves into existence, made visible like a bullhorn erupting for the demand of civil rights. Vincent Chin was slain 2 nights before the day of his wedding. His mother and fiancé, forced to mourn the loss of their loved one, refused to let his legacy be forgotten. Generations later, we are still working to abolish anti-Asian violence, from classroom jokes to public executions. We refuse to ever be forgotten. Word. Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. What's up, so again, my name is Osaki. I'm very honored to be here with y'all tonight. I have one more poem I'd like to kick for y'all, if that's cool. And this piece is, thank you. This piece is about my relationship with poetry. All right, so last year I graduated from the University of Washington. UW, for sure. And I was fortunate enough to be accepted into law school. However, during my application process, I sat down with the judge to get her feedback on my future plans, right? And in talking with her, I could see she didn't take me seriously because I wrote poetry. So upon reflection, I wrote this poem to remind myself that if I truly love something in my heart of hearts, then I should make it a part of my life no matter what others believe. Whether that's making a living from it, or having it in my life because it gets me free. So poetry and using my voice gets me free. I hope y'all are able to find whatever it is that liberates yourselves. If you haven't already, hold on to it. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you enjoyed this last poem. Let's rock. Of college, I sat down with a judge to discuss my interest in law school. Her office windows gorgeous in height, glass carving the walls like prison bars. She asked me, "Troy, how old are you? What school do you go to? What year are you?" I told her I'm 19 and a senior at the University of Washington. She asked, "What do you like to do?" I told her, "I enjoy poetry." She replied, "No, what are you interested in?" I told her, "I'm interested in poetry." She said, "Troy, you can't eat poetry. You can't make money with poetry. What do you actually like?" As if what she really meant to say sounded more like, "Troy, be realistic, be mature, grow up, stop being naive. Poetry will not make you a living. Get a real job. Your value is determined by how much salary you make in a year. Poems will pay you nothing." I settled into my seat quiet, as if being sentenced to verdict. Her advice felt less like consulting a lawyer and more like a courtroom. I wore my body like a trial, feeling guilty for wanting to write poetry. My chair, a witness stand to be talked interrogation to. I could smell the polygraph test in her questions. She couldn't believe the truth I found in poetry. Did not want to understand how meaningful creative art is to me. After graduating college, I began my first poetry job at a transitional housing center for youth. Every week, I listen to poems about the shape of safety they cannot find, about searching for a home they feel like they belong to, about being underestimated, discouraged, told they are not good enough. I have listened to young people write themselves into existence, cold plastic pens held in their hands like gavels. They have taught me to never write pieces for a jury. I do not need to prove myself. Poems may never earn a disposable income, but whether I learn to write for a living or not, poetry will never be determined by the value of a paycheck. My narratives are not built for profits. I did not practice writing for years to produce poems like a factory. Poetry is liberation of myself onto paper. It is the place I've learned to share my own story. I have made homes here, found safety in knowing I belong. Poetry is writing myself into existence. No law degree can take this away from me. I remember why I am here with every poem I create. Alright, thank you so much, Phil Knight.